There are plenty of how-to videos on water brushes, but this isn't one of them. And here's why. I bought this water brush recently because it's small, and I bought these sketchbooks for the same reason. This is by far my simplest travel setup to date, and I'd like to share it with you, but first I have to pack. Passport, check. Wallet, check. Sketchbook, check. Water brushes come in a variety of shapes and sizes, typically with either a flat or a rounded tip, and these ones cost about $1 each. After the brush tip, inside this threaded joint, you have a simple valve which controls the flow of water when you're squeezing the reservoir. This is the reservoir, and finally you have a protective cap. 23B. 3B. Yay, we made it to the airport on time. But as always, now we have to wait. Yeah, I'll be quick. As a busy dad, these are the moments that may be the difference between sketching and not sketching for the day. So this is a quick sketch with water-soluble ink, and I'm now creating a wash with the water brush. Some of you might be thinking, well, why isn't he just using a pencil with some shading? And my reply would be, quite often pencil smudges in a sketchbook, which I don't like. And I can work quickly with a water brush and get a lot of coverage. I'm also using hot press paper, which helps as it absorbs less water. The major advantage of a water brush is that you don't need to faff around with a separate container for your water. You can also fill your water brush with a premix of pigment or diluted ink, but I've yet to experiment with any of these techniques.
Hello, he's washing the engine. Can you see that?
What?
Washing the engine.
Well, if water brushes are so amazing, then why isn't everyone using them? So surely there must be a catch. Yep, there is. And the first one is that you have a very limited supply of water. So if you're planning on working wet on wet, or on cold pressed paper, or in hot conditions, it pays to carry an extra spray bottle with you to pre-wet the page and your paint. It's also advantageous to work on a smaller scale. And that's not the only catch. The trickiest thing about using a water brush is that when you press the reservoir to discharge water, as the reservoir regains its shape, it will naturally suck in air or water. So if you've got the brush tip in a puddle of paint at the time, it will suck that paint into your reservoir, and the rest of your mixing will be muddied with that colour. So how do you prevent this? Well, the best way is to develop good technique and to clean your brush regularly, which is why I've taken to wearing a sports sweatband, so that after each time I mix the paint I can flush through the remaining pigment. This is a watercolour sketch on Da Nang Beach in Vietnam, and here's another on a boat trip in Ho Chi Minh City. On the same boat trip I did this quick ink sketch that I then filled in later with washes of watercolour using the water brush. I find that works if you've got limited time. These figure studies didn't turn out so well, and what frustrated me the most was I got too much pigment in the reservoir of the water brush and had to clean it. But luckily I found this public sink and was able to clean the brush by flushing through with fresh water. This is a quick fix. If you need to do a deeper clean, then you need to take the brush apart. And you do this by gently pushing the brush tip through the threaded joint and removing the valve. You can then remove the brush assembly and carefully remove a foam collar before finally removing the bristles. You can then thoroughly wash each component part before careful reassembly. So here it is. This is what I've been kicking around with for the last couple of weeks. It's my everyday carry. I have a couple of water brushes, a pencil and a pen, my half pan set of watercolours, and my trusty sweatband for cleaning the water brushes. And then I'm working in this A6 sketchbook, and I'd like to show you what carrying a water brush with me all the time has enabled me to do in the 10 days or so since I started making this video. So I'd love to know your thoughts on water brushes, whether you love them, whether you hate them, and why, any particular brands that you're using. If you can let us know in the comments below. If you get anything out of this channel, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.